Hi guys. You might be looking around and thinking, that looks like a familiar place. I am in our classroom. I needed to come get the book, The Lorax, because that's what we're going to be reading today. And I had to come to school to get it. And so I thought might as well act like we're sitting on the carpet listening to me read. So our classroom still looks basically the same, right? Ignore my head. So there we are. Oh, I miss it so much. All right, so I'm going to put you right here, just like we're reading a story at school. And we are going to read, let me scoot on up, The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Okay, so this is out of 6 by Seuss. So there are 6 stories in here, but we are going to read The Lorax. Okay, so if you remember The Lorax, the little orange man was the Lorax, and he speaks for the trees. So think about what we learned about earlier with natural resources, preserving things that come from Earth, renewable versus non-renewable. We don't want to use up the non-renewable so quickly so we run out, because then we have no more. We have to take care of our Earth. Hope you enjoy. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. There's the street. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows. The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkim on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkim, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of myth-muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. So there he lives, all the way up there. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. So there he is, tossing it all in to hear the Onceler story. Sorry, I have to peek so I can see if I'm showing it to you. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grovulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-mophone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. That's his snub. He sticks it in his finger. Slop! Down slops the whisper-mophone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swami swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place. And I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. You've seen the movie, you probably remember this part. Beautiful trees. And there he is, on covered wagon, it looks like. Covered wagon. And under the trees, I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. All the animals that are there. Those little bears are so cute. But those trees, those truffula trees. All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh, buttery milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. He's picking off some of them right here. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. Some of you probably knew that. There's his little shop. A Onceler's shop. He made a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I'd heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Hopefully you guys don't think I'm sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? He's calling him out. Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who would buy that full thneed. I don't know if I'd buy it. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. He made his first sell. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. He's getting a bunch of workers. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Look at all these trees being chopped down right now. And they're knitting thneeds. Then, oh, baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now, chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before. And that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. 4 at a time. Kind of making me feel sad a little bit. They're all going to be gone. But next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go around. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies." Oh no, those poor little babies. You see all those trees, they affected the bears. Now they can't eat anything. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. "Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. What are some words you would use to describe the Onceler right now, as all those brown barbaloots are just going away? I have some good adjectives I could think to describe the Onceler right now. I meant no harm. I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger. So bigger I got. I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Do you think everyone needs to bigger their money? Look at the landscape here. Think about the picture of how the forest was before versus how it is now. What differences do you see? Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax," he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snargled, he sniffed. "Onceler," he cried with a crufulous croak. "Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat." Do you know what smog is? Smog is like dusty fog and bad stuff in the air. How dark the sky is. Smoke. It reminds me of like the black exhaust from a truck. "And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough, they cannot live here. So I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here." There they are. "What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about the gluppity glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity glup, also schloppity schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you." Look at all that muck he's making from all of his machinery. Where do you think he's putting it? "You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary." Look at that. He's polluting the water. And there they're going to walk away. It's coming all from his factory. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs." And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffula tree of them all was cut down. You see all those little stumps over there? Those are all the trees he's cut down. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, every one, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. He picked himself up and went away through the one little teeny hole through the smog. He's not needed anymore. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. There it is, unless. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. The one last seed. And that was it. I love that line. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And I feel like we can relate that story so much to issues with the earth and global warming that we're going through right now. And unless us people care a whole awful lot, nothing's going to change if we continue to put that much exhaust into the air or cut down the rainforests or cut down way more of the rainforests than we need to. It is important to use trees for wood and things. That is a natural resource that we can use, but to cut them down so many at a time, that's harmful. And we know that book was by Dr. Seuss. There's that guy, cute little guy. I hope you enjoyed it. Now what you're going to do, I have an assignment, a challenge question, kind of about the Lorax and connecting it to our life in Ohio that I want you to answer, and then you're done for the day. Check out your May-dos. Okay, I have some fun things for you on there too. I hope you enjoyed our little classroom. I miss it, and I miss you all so much. All right, I love you. Hope to see you soon. Bye.